No attack yet. This is the first effort of the match of the Cypriots to get forward. And the ball played wide there to Koliantris. Played high over the top. Was it given? Savvidis. So that's the first attack of the match, and Scotland survived. Scotland playing in their change strip of the white tops with blue shorts and white stockings. So the Scotland team, something of a surprise in that they have David Speedie in attack. The Scottish team was Leighton in goal. He passed the fitness test. Then a back three of Gough, McLeish and Narey. A midfield of Nicol, McStay, Aitken and Malpas. And Brian McClair supporting the front two of Johnston and Speedie. So the Cypriots playing in their blue tops and white shorts. And the Cypriot team showing one or two very experienced players. Miamiliotis, the defender, wearing number 3, his 37th cap this afternoon. Up front they have Savvidis, the AEK Athens striker, who's a very accomplished performer, winning his 22nd cap this afternoon. So here's Paul McStay now for Scotland, with Brian McClair pushing forward. And the Cypriots pulling players back, funneling into defence. It's Malpas who will take the throw. Here's Johnston. As Arthur Monter said, the pitch very controversial and very poor shape indeed. Been battered by matches over the past few weeks. There were 5 played here at the weekend, and the amount of play has taken its toll on the surface. Now here's the ball being returned very slowly from the ball boy. One of the problems the Scots may face is the wasting time tactics of the Cypriots. A running track around the playing surface, and then a long way from there to the stands and terracings. The Scots coming forward again, and Steve Nicol playing it over to the far side to David Speedie. Speedie's aggression and ability in the air preferred up front to that of Alan McAnally. The Scotland staying on the attack. The throw will be taken by Nicol. Here's Speedie once more. So Nicol working hard to try to find an opening for the cross, but that's the goalkeeper, Pantziaras, going out to collect. And sitting beside me here is the Manchester United manager, Alex Ferguson. So here's David Narey. Some gremlins affecting Alex Ferguson's microphone, which we hope to sort out shortly. There's Aitken with a header. Here's Speedie, very much involved in the early action for Scotland. David Speedie winning his 8th cap this afternoon. That makes him the least experienced international player in the Scottish lineup. It's a very experienced team indeed. Here's David Narey winning his 35th cap. Interception by Yiangoudakis. There's Aitken. Malpas takes the short pass. So here's Yiangoudakis again, the playmaker, number 6 for Cyprus, the captain. Koliantris plays it forward. Here's Yiangoudakis again, challenged immediately by Paul McStay, and the referee from East Germany has given a free kick to Cyprus. The referee very highly rated, that's Siegfried Kirschen from East Germany. And the free kick to Cyprus will be taken by Miamiliotis. Savvidis screening the ball. Here's Yiangoudakis again. Hustling tactics from Aitken. It's Miamiliotis coming forward again. The clearance there by McLeish. There goes Speedie. He didn't quite reach it. Christodoulou was the marker, number 4. So Cyprus winning it again in midfield, but that forward ball collected easily by Malpas. So the long clearance again left by Malpas. There's a bit of uncertainty there between Malpas and McLeish. The result is a throw to Cyprus. So it's warm and sunny here in the Tsirion Stadium in Limassol, but the wind is blowing straight down the field towards Jim Leighton. The Cypriots have the advantage in the first half. There's Yiangoudakis. Savvidis going down with a challenge from McLeish. McLeish thought there was a bit of play acting there, but a free kick has been given. Yiangoudakis, number 6, dictating play for the Cypriots. That's George Savvidis, the only player who plays out of Cyprus, playing in Greek football for AEK Athens. Headed away by Gough, and the clearance by Or it's Malpas. Johnston chests it down for Speedie. You see how frisky the ball is. It's bouncing and bumping along there in that very bare midfield. Pantziaras with the throw out to Pittas, wearing number 2, playing at left back. Koliantris has gone across the far side. The marking player is David Narey for Scotland. Well, the Scots were expecting some activity from the Cypriots early in the match. And they certainly have looked brisk and busy, Alec.
Yeah, well, it's a frantic opening, really. The conditions are not the best, Jock, and I think that obviously Scotland have recognised this, and that's why David Narey at the back, hopefully to minimise any mistakes made in a surface like this. But it's important for Scotland to settle, and I think that at this stage they're looking all right.
So the plan involving Brian McClair in a supporting role and the principal strikers, Speedie and Johnston. Scotland not yet having the opportunity to get forward though, as the Cypriots work very hard in midfield to keep possession. There's Jim Leighton winning his 46th cap this afternoon. Headed away came from Socratous, number 5. This is Christodoulou, number 4. Pittas keeps the ball in play. Koliantris putting pressure on Narey. That's the throw to Cyprus on the far side. We've got them pulling players back now. Brian McClair getting some instructions out of the picture from the bench. He drops back to the edge of the box. Here's Yiangoudakis. And there was an offside flag up on the near side, bringing that Cypriot attack to a halt. So you see Jim Leighton coming off his line. He wants that ball back in play quickly. So it's McLeish now for Scotland. That one is intended for Speedie. So well he gets up. The height on the bounce tells its own story. Here's a chance for Johnston. For Scotland. Oh, Johnston. 7 minutes gone. The perfect start for Scotland. Boris Johnston celebrating his 9th goal for his country. And a dreadful error in defence from Cyprus, but Johnston wasted no time in taking full advantage. Well, a perfect opening for the Scots, and all the strain seems to be eased immediately by that superb finish. An error in defence. Here's Johnston going through, and Socratous trying to get back. Johnston taking the ball in a drop. Pantziaras got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out, and that's a crucial goal for Scotland.
Well, Jock, you see, the Pittas playing with the sweeper here. The markers lost all contact with Mo Johnston completely, and Mo's managed to go alongside the sweeper, take advantage of it, and finish very well. A great start, Jock. Perfect start.
And Mo Johnston scoring his 3rd consecutive World Cup match for Scotland. So he scored against Norway in Oslo. He then scored against Yugoslavia at Hamden. And now that vital opener here in Cyprus. Here's Savvidis for Cyprus. And it's blocked inside. Savva's with a pass, and it's Malpas who thumps it out. And there's going to be an immediate change made by Scotland with an injury affecting Steve Nicol right at the start of the match. That's Ian Ferguson who's going on. And that was the message Brian McClair was conveying to the bench a moment ago, that Steve Nicol had damaged the muscle. So Ian Ferguson goes on to win his 2nd cap for Scotland. So that will involve some reorganisation. Alec, what do you think the Scots will go?
Well, since the Stu's will be in Ferguson will occupy that wide right position. And really that's a bad blow for Scotland, because you're taking away one of the best players in British football, Steve Nicol. And here we go.
Miamiliotis with the clearance. There's David Narey. Well, that was certainly something that Scotland wouldn't have been bargaining on, was the change, bringing on Ferguson. As the player winning only his 2nd cap. He played against Italy just before Christmas in the friendly match. Played not at all badly in midfield that day.
Yeah, I was saying that the young Ian Ferguson, doesn't nearly have half the experience of Steve Nicol. The bad blow, and it's going to be important for Ian in his initial 10 minutes in this game to get into the match and also to understand his role. So it's a free kick to Cyprus.
Pittas will take it. Bouncing away over the head of Johnston. There was a push into the back row of Johnston, so it's a free kick to Scotland. The chance once again to create something coming forward.
I don't know what the injury is to Steve Nicol, but it's obviously there was distress signals coming from the field. I hope it's not serious.
Well, Narey's free kick was aimed for Speedie, but it's intercepted by Savva. There's McLeish again. Chases on for Johnston. Played forward by Miamiliotis, who's playing in the right back position, wearing number 3. There's David Narey going back. Leighton takes control. So Scotland leading now by 1-0, but forced to make an early substitution. Here's Ian Ferguson, the substitute. Playing that across towards Johnston. Look how badly the ball is bouncing and bundling. It's Malpas who takes full advantage for Scotland. Malpas looking for help, gets it from McStay inside. That's set up for Roy Aitken. A fine effort from Aitken. He was given plenty of space just outside the box to have an attempted goal, and Pantziaras relieved to see that go over.
Yeah, it's positive stuff for Scotland just now, John. They're keeping it simple. They're playing up to their front players as much as they can, and they're getting good support from the midfield from Paul McStay, McClair and Roy Aitken. They're good start, Jock, and it's important to keep this going. They've got experience at the back, and I think it's working well for us now.
Ian Ferguson, some suggestion there in the Scottish formation. I like that they may have gone to a more routine 4 men at the back, with Richard Gough slotting over to right back and Malpas also dropping back. That may be to allow the team to settle for a little.
Well, John, I can't see the balance if they do that. If it creates a problem for them, I would have thought it would have been easier to keep it the way it was, but yeah, right, Richard Gough is up on the right-hand side. I think it gives Scotland a problem on the left-hand side of the field.
That's the area occupied for the moment by Roy Aitken. There's Gough's cross. Yiangoudakis with the overhead clearance. Savvidis won that from McStay. Here's Savva. Aitken goes to challenge. Good running by Yiangoudakis, but it was spotted by Malpas, and that came off the Cypriot captain to give a throw to Scotland.
It may mean that they maybe just play a straight 3 in the middle of the park and Brian McClair as far up the park as possible. You see, the problem for Brian is he's been man-marked by number 10, Nicolaou. And it may mean he ought to stay further up the field, Jock.
So Savvidis turning for Cyprus. Here's Nicolaou going forward. Koliantris putting pressure on David Narey. For Cyprus. Koliantris scores. And Scotland have pulled back to level terms. 14 minutes on the clock, and a bitter blow for the Scots, still reorganising after the loss of Steve Nicol. It's Koliantris who scores, and the Cypriot fans go wild around us. So that's a goal I'm sure David Narey will not relish seeing again. As the ball came through with Nicolaou, who made the run. There's number 7, Koliantris, running through with David Narey trying to get his bearings. Now the striker did well here, pressurising Narey, blocking the clearance. He had a clear run in now on Leighton, and the keeper couldn't keep that out.
Well, that's a bad goal, and it just emphasises the dangers of this pitch they're playing on. It's a bumpy, rutted pitch, and whilst David Narey has been operating the sweeper and going out to a general marking job, he's found it difficult. Here it is again, Jock.
So the Cypriot director in some doubt about what action to show for the moment. And there was the breakthrough by Koliantris with Narey. Narey's clearance coming off the body of the Cypriot striker. Narey appealing in vain, and the ball is driven beyond Jim Leighton. There's more Johnston, teeing it up for Paul McStay. Still McStay looking for an opening at the edge of the box. McLeish coming to meet that with a header, and the Cypriots pushing out, catching the Scots offside. Speedie caught as the Cypriot defenders came racing out of the box. Well, that perfect start negated by that moment when Koliantris broke through the Scottish defence. And Scotland have to attempt to win the match all over again. It's Koliantris, the goal scorer, tackled by Maurice Malpas, who showed his studs, lifting his boot too high, so it's a free kick to the Cypriots. You can see by the way they celebrated that goal how much it meant to them. There's Miamiliotis. Screen going wide there by Savvidis, and the ball was out before McLeish made the tackle. And the referee reacting to the linesman. They're going to give a free kick to Cyprus. It looked as though the linesman had given a throw before the tackle came in, but another moment of danger for the Scottish defence to handle. So it's George Savvidis, the striker, with the free kick. Stumbling around there with some uncertainty. McLeish pumps it away in the end for Scotland. And an enormous lift. They're playing with renewed enthusiasm and vigour. That cross going well behind Jim Leighton's goal, giving some respite for the Scottish defence.
I think you'll find now that Richard Gough has gone back to his marking job. We've Dave Narey spare again. I think this is wise. You always like to score, after you've scored a goal, to settle for 15 minutes, but they haven't had that pleasure, Scotland, and now we're back to square one.
So no Cypriot forward attacking that ball as it bounces through there. There's the score line. Scotland scoring first through Mo Johnston, and then Koliantris equalising for Cyprus. Here's Johnston. Ian Ferguson is screening it, trying to turn. Richard Gough appearing from right back. There's Mo Johnston going in. Didn't quite get a touch. Fully enough on the ball. Glancing off his head behind for a Cypriot goal kick. Well, it was Johnston and Speedie racing in on that cross ball from Richard Gough. Pantziaras, the Cypriot goalkeeper, relieved to take this goal kick. There's the Cypriot bench. Panikos Yakubu, the manager, with the glasses there and the grey top. Up goes Aitken. Aitken appeared to be screened off the ball by Yiangoudakis, but there's no infringement. Aitken, who lofts it forward. So throw to Cyprus. You can see there's no urgency at all about them now with that equaliser. There is the Scottish bench with Andy Roxburgh right in the middle. Stand as soon as the Steve Nicol problem arose. High in the air from Miamiliotis, and there's Aitken's header. McStay couldn't reach it. The ball bounced away from him, and still no sign of Paul McStay taking a grip on the match in midfield.
Well, I think it's difficult in that midfield, Jock. His surface is shocking. The Cypriots are now playing 3 up. And this may benefit Scotland in the long run. Once the steaming comes out of the game and Scotland can assert their endurance in the game, because I think that'll be a factor.
Remember, Scotland in white tops. Savvidis turning away from McStay, who wins it. There's Malpas taking over. And it comes off Savvidis, who's been dropping back. The EK Athens striker, and there's an injury to a Cyprus player. He's lying on the ground now. There's no certainty at all about how that happened, and one of the concerns the Scots had was the way in which the Cypriots play act, and there is the German referee indicating that he will not allow any attention for the Cypriot player. He wants the match to continue. Andy Roxburgh's gone right to the touchline, insisting that there be no hold-up in play, and the East German referee certainly was not impressed by that. There's Ian Ferguson's header, and it's too far ahead of Speedie. Well on the ground is the sweeper, Socratous.
He must be injured, Jock. He can't lie down as long as that. He must have something wrong with him.
Now the referee is reconsidering in view of the time taken by the Cypriot player on the ground. And the referee indicating the player must leave the field immediately. He will not allow treatment on the field of play. So the player's being invited to carry him off if he's not fit enough to continue. Well, this was a major concern for the Scots. The Cypriots have shown in the past their tendency to slow play up, waste time, and have long delays for injuries.
Well, I've been impressed with the East German referee in the other games, John. I was telling Andy Roxburgh that this morning. He's a strong, good referee, and he's obviously put his stamp in this game right away. He won't stand any nonsense. And I think it's a feature of the game, unfortunately, in the modern day game that we want to see rid of.
So the Cypriots reduced to 10 men for the moment. The Socratous off the field. And the manager, Panikos Yiangoudakis, coming to the touchline with some instructions for his players. But no indication they're going to use a substitute just yet. There's all the activity on the touchline. And it's the Cypriots going forward on the far side. Yiangoudakis tackled there by Ian Ferguson. Well, little did Ian Ferguson think he'd be involved in the action so early on. Remember, replacing Steve Nicol within 10 minutes. So Socratous appears to have recovered adequately to resume in the heart of the Cypriot defence. So the big contingent of Scots fans booing as Socratous returns to the action. That cross going over beyond Koliantris. Back it goes now to Savva. Inside, Yiangoudakis turning away brilliantly. Football McStay. Yiangoudakis still in possession. And it's Leighton who gets help from Gough. Very awkward for goalkeepers. That ball bouncing just in front of him, but got his body behind it. That's a good save. So midway through, fascinating first half. Scotland have a free kick. The foul on David Speedie, but it's Cyprus 1, Scotland 1. Goals coming in the 7th minute from Johnston and in the 14th minute from Koliantris to equalise. And it's a free kick which Scotland will hope to exploit. David Speedie going into the box now. McLeish is up, so is Richard Gough. Flighted in by Ian Ferguson, up goes McLeish. McClair leaving that to bounce across to Johnston. Playing it back now to Ferguson, the early cross in, it's headed away by Christodoulou, and the shot goes over the bar from Richard Gough.
I think it was a half chance, Joe, that. The problem with these pitches too is you get prudent unsure, and they just seem to stay up a little too long for Richard to get under control. Try to control his shot.
So Pantziaras, the goalkeeper, tends not to want to take goal kicks. He gets some help there. It's not a very convincing clearance by Miamiliotis, and it's Ian Ferguson closing quickly in on Pittas. Ian Ferguson again. Anxious to make his mark in the proceedings. David Speedie looking for help and support. Controlling it well, inviting David Narey to become involved. Narey striding forward. Tugging aside a challenge from Savvidis and winning the throw for Scotland. Aitken taking it quickly. Here's Johnston. Back it comes to Aitken. The tackle was by Koliantris. Again, it's Scotland's throw, and it's Johnston. Here's Aitken. That's a sliced cross. Ian Ferguson battling hard. Up goes Richard Gough. He appeared to be bundled by Pittas. The referee allows the play to continue. Pittas, a very fine young player, and the offside flag is up on the far side, bringing that Cyprus move to an end.
Yes, it's back to the frantic game again, Jock, and the Cypriot scoring has also risen their hopes and got them enthusiastic again. The Scotland's attitude is good. They're all working hard.
Here's Savvidis in space. Koliantris going forward. No mistake this time. David Narey controlling that well. The pass not quite so good. Nicolaou intercepts. Here's McClair, who hasn't yet been seen much in evidence in the match. And it's Malpas. Johnston's header. McClair going in to pressurise the defence. Look how the ball is bouncing there as Aitken turns it back to McLeish. The heavy rainfall the Scots hoped for did not materialise. Here's McClair. Caught late there with that challenge, and the referee has given a free kick to Scotland. By McClair, who was taken out of the play by Ioannou just after he played the pass. So free kick picked up by the East German referee, who certainly appears to have a very firm grip on the proceedings. Ian Ferguson has a word with him, and the free kick taken short to Paul McStay. Good tackle by Pittas. Koliantris putting pressure again on Narey. Turned away by the Scottish central defender. but at the expense of a throw to Cyprus.
I think that's in the surface list, Jock, that Scotland must make sure they keep the game in front of them. Not to be over-elaborating, not to any difficult football, because that surface could be the best team in the world.
Yes, very difficult indeed, and that's proving to be the case for men like Paul McStay and Brian McClair at this stage. Cyprus have a free kick, which Pittas, the left back, wearing number 2, will take. McLeish showing his understanding with Jim Leighton, forged over many years at Aberdeen. Here's Mo Johnston going up with Miamiliotis. Look how well he won that. Well, there was a suggestion the Cypriots were vulnerable in the air, and Mo Johnston and David Speedie, not very tall, but both very good indeed when the ball is in the air. Here's Pittas. And McLeish has that under control with Jim Leighton coming off his line. Leighton getting nearer and nearer to the 50 cap mark. This is his 46th international this afternoon. Here's Mo Johnston. And head flick on was too remote for Speedie.
I haven't seen Mo Johnston look so sharp, Joe. He's been very impressive. His moving off the ball and his general sharpness about the game has been excellent.
Speedie putting pressure on Pantziaras, the Cypriot goalkeeper, is not very confident when players are on top of him when he's trying to kick the ball out. Here's Johnston. There's now Roy Aitken. Roy Aitken being forced to play more and more on the left side of the midfield, following the alterations made with the absence of Steve Nicol with that early muscle injury. Yiangoudakis stopped there by Roy Aitken, and I think that'll be a free kick to Cyprus. Yiangoudakis in no hurry to get back on the field. So it's left now to the number 3, who is Miamiliotis. Roy Aitken, Scottish captain, goes back. Miamiliotis, number 3, for the free kick. Malpas to the header. There's McClair. That's one for Speedie to chase, with Christodoulou getting there first. Christodoulou turning well, the big number 4. There's Pittas, challenged well by Ferguson. Koliantris picks up the loose ball. Here's Paul McStay. And the pass goes astray, but the decision goes to Scotland. Well, it came off a Cypriot player going out for that throw. Christodoulou getting in front of Speedie. So Scotland making progress gradually up the right flank. Richard Gough will take the throw. Speedie making room for himself. Laying it back towards Ian Ferguson. Well, we've seen many examples of his tremendous shooting power in Rangers colours. But perhaps a bobble as the ball reached him, and that's well over the top.
One of the fears I have watching the game at the moment, I don't think that technically they'll have any problem in Scotland. But what has impressed me about the Cypriots, the delivery of free kicks into the box has been very good. Considering Scotland have the aerial power there, but the delivery of free kicks is keeping the Scottish defenders under a lot of pressure. I hope we don't give many away, because that could be a real thorn in the flesh, Scotland.
So that's a decision again for Cyprus, as Ioannou was trying to go past Richard Gough. Well, there must be some anxiety on that Scottish bench. There's discussions there with Andy Roxburgh and Craig Brown beside him. And the half-hour mark has come and gone now, with the match tied up at 1 goal apiece. Here's Savvidis going across, but Richard Gough allows that to bounce behind for a Scottish goal kick. Panikos Yakubu, the Cypriot manager, with the cigarette, who was a very anxious man before the match. Here's Malpas towards Speedie. Miamiliotis is put under pressure now by Johnston. Here's Roy Aitken. Johnston collects, looking for the early cross. McLeish comes over, and the high ball forward, catching the Scots onside, all right. Aitken with Miamiliotis, and it's turned away there by Koliantris for a corner kick to Scotland. Now it's the first corner kick Scotland have had in the match, And this will be very interesting indeed. We've got Richard Gough and Alec McLeish coming forward. Richard Gough hanging back though at the corner of the box. It's Alec McLeish inside the 6-yard box. And here's Malpas getting a second chance to play the ball into the danger area. And played away comfortably. Aitken returns it, and the flag is up. It's against Brian McClair, I think. Well, it could have been a great deal in that. A very tight decision, Alec.
Oh, a tight decision. It may have been against Dave Speedie, but I certainly didn't think it was an offside position. But you know, always the defender gets the benefit of doubt. It may have been level, but a very tight decision right enough. I think looking at the way the game settled, John, for Scotland's benefit, that Brian McClair's been man-marked in midfield. I think if Brian were to occupy other positions, maybe the other midfield players can get through, because looking at Brian McClair's record in English football, which is a great recognition over here, and they're obviously concerned about Brian McClair, why they're marking him. I feel that maybe other Scottish players should take advantage of this marking, and if Brian can use his intelligence to keep his marker out of the road, we may get better joy.
So the free kick to Cyprus, and once again the Cypriot player is not prepared to get back up. The East German referee making it perfectly plain he will not allow treatment on the field. Richard Gough was penalised for a body check there on Ioannou, holding his mouth, but certainly not prepared to leave the field when invited to do so by the referee. Here's one of those free kicks which concerned Alec Ferguson. Will be taken by the left back, Pittas. Going for the short one this time. Here's the injured player, Ioannou, running straight into Roy Aitken. Good play by McStay, winning possession again for Scotland. That's for Speedie. But the cover was provided there by Christodoulou, and Cypriots trying to get forward, but Jim Leighton commanding his goal area. So the long ball coming from Jim Leighton. Scots preferring to get the ball deep inside the Cypriot half. Here's Ian Ferguson trying to play that through for Speedie. Pittas tackled very heavily indeed by Speedie. The free kick's been given. Speedie certainly renowned for putting himself about.
Yeah, he showed a little of his aggression there, Jock. Something he's improved certainly in England this season. He's not as fire as he was, and you need aggression, you need the fire in the belly, but it has to be controlled, and David has to be aware of that all the time.
So Cyprus with a free kick taken by Socratous. Fish being backed into by Savvidis. Here's Yiangoudakis. And Koliantris with the snapshot from the edge of the box, but again, surface proving a problem for the Cypriot player. The ball bouncing awkwardly just as he tried to strike it. Savvidis doing well though, coming off Alec McLeish to show some good control. So here's Narey. Up goes Johnston. Yiangoudakis playing it into space, but there's no Cypriot player there, and Alec McLeish has lots of time to turn. Start the forward move again for the Scots. Well, tense moments these. Match still all square at 1 goal each. Speedie's little header, but there's no one going into that area beyond him.
Unless the two strikers stay close together, they won't get any joy out of these types of ball. All the support must come from midfield in situations. If they've decided to stay wide apart, the two strikers, then they need support from the midfield. The dummy from Brian McClair, but no one going into the space behind. So 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Cyprus 1, Scotland 1. Steve Nicol has already been replaced by Ian Ferguson because of injury. There's Leighton with a long ball forward. Speedie comes to challenge. Clumsy clearance. There's Malpas. He didn't touch the bounce of the ball either. It's Roy Aitken who has to show his running power. That's beyond McClair. Oh, Johnston cuts off the road to the goalkeeper. That's played forward by Nicolaou, who is Brian McClair's marker. That's Malpas with the header. So throw to Cyprus, and you can see once again they're in no hurry at all to take it. The referee already indicating that he wants things speeded up when the ball is out of play. Here's Malpas.
Now Johnston. Back it goes to Aitken. Aiken's tackle, keeping it in for Malpas. Ball appeared to go out there. It's a throw to Cyprus. And there will be a change for the Cypriots now. They're taking off Savva, their number 8. And the replacement is Pittas from Omonia, coming on to win his 4th cap. So Savva leaves, and this is Petsas.
Scotland have also made a tactical change. Dave Speedie is down in midfield and Brian McClair is up front. This is obviously maybe something they've pre-planned, interchanging the roles of Speedie and McClair.
Ball bouncing away from Christodoulou. There's Pittas picking it up, sidestepping Ian Ferguson. Cypriots claiming the throw, but the East German referee is not deceived by that. It's Richard Gough for Scotland. Here's Narey. And a bit of a misunderstanding of Socratous, and the header goes wide, almost an own goal. Well, a clear example of the uncertainty in the Cypriot defence when the ball is in the air. Pantziaras coming off his line, not making it clear what he intended to do, and Socratous almost gave Scotland the lead. Malpas with a kick right to the far post. Up comes Speedie with Johnston. No one supporting there as Ian Ferguson trying to get back with Savvidis sprinting away. Ferguson showing his remarkable pace in the recovery. Savvidis keeping possession well. Ferguson still battling hard along the Scottish defence to regroup. And it's Ferguson the end who wins it. Tremendous diligent play by Ian Ferguson. McClair getting some more freedom as he's gone into attack. McClair looking up to see the support inside. That's angled in towards Johnston. Up goes Roy Aitken. That's one for Pittas to collect with plenty of space to exploit ahead.
Well, you see the weakness in the Cypriots. Therefore, cross ball's a problem for him. It was great work there by Ian Ferguson, chasing back, making a long run back, eventually win it and setting off Brian McClair in a nice run. Good play.
So that dummy succeeded only in giving Scotland the throw. And Scotland still with that orthodox 4-man defence now. They wanted to open up with 2 markers and a sweeper, with Steve Nicol pushing forward from the right back area. Now preferring with the less experienced Ian Ferguson on the right side of midfield to slot Richard Gough across and bring Maurice Malpas back to an orthodox left back. As well judged by Malpas. Here's McClair. And there's an offside flag up on the far side. Well, Brian McClair must have come from an offside position to challenge. So free kick to Cyprus. Going into the late stages of a very interesting first half. Scotland getting off to that marvellous start through Mo Johnston, and then Narey in defence allowing Koliantris to equalise. But no easy task ahead for the Scots. 5 minutes remaining in the first half as Leighton sends the long ball forward. McClair comes across. Look at the height of that bounce. Well, that's good play by McClair, trying to thread that through for Johnston. Tackle by McClair will give the free kick to Cyprus. Well, it looks to be clear enough. Yes, the referee has given the throw. That's Ioannou playing it back to his keeper. Oh, Johnston now making life difficult for him, putting him under pressure. A high bounce takes it through to McLeish. Up goes Speedie in midfield now. Christodoulou beating Johnston. Across goes Narey to cover with Koliantris, the goal scorer, coming in quickly from the left. Good interchanging by the Cypriots in attack, using Ioannou and Koliantris to cause problems with their positional moves. That's turned behind by Ian Ferguson for a corner kick to Cyprus. The Scots regroup now in defence. Everyone going back to the box, treating this with complete respect. Yiangoudakis, the captain, will take it. Playing it short. And the Scots reacting quickly. It's Roy Aitken who tried to play it forward. It's a throw to Scotland. Well, a goal in these closing minutes of the first half would make an enormous difference, Ali.
Oh yeah, as long as it's for us, Jock. The one thing they'll take into the dressing room as they consider the first half is they've had the lesson. You can't let the ball bounce. You must try and beat it first and taking no chances whatsoever, particularly defensively. Keep the game simple. And they've had not a torrid 45 minutes, but they've had an experience of making sure that they come away with a result and playing simple football and not taking chances in the surface, which could be the best team from the world.
So here's David Narey now, ready to pump this ball forward. Speedie calling for it in the box, so is Johnston. And here's Koliantris, being pressurised by Malpas. Up goes Narey. Paul McStay collects. Back now with McLeish. A long high ball through the middle. Here's Malpas trying to judge the bounce of the ball. He did well. There's Ferguson. That's Richard Gough. Such a difficult task to retain control on the surface. Now Paul McStay. Gough, the simple ball inside. That's good play from Scotland. Ferguson to McStay. Inside it goes to McClair. A brilliant turn by Brian McClair. The early cross. No one coming in on the far post. Roy Aitken trying to keep the ball in play. Returning it early. Up goes Richard Gough. Well, that's straight from the training ground. That's bringing Richard Gough into the action. Fine header, but the goalkeeper was positioned well enough to collect.
Yeah, I'm sure Andy will be stressing that point at half-time. Get the ball crossing that box. There's been plenty of examples of the problems that beset the Cyprus defence. The only problem is in the left-hand side, Jock. They could have someone come in the back post there from crosses on the right. But all you can see is playing in the field a little. It may be that you'll have to consider playing a little bit wide on the left to give us a little bit more balance and width.
Malpas at full stretch with a header. Then steps McLeish. Here's Ian Ferguson. Well, he's in a fine match for Scotland, showing a real appetite for the fray. Waiting to release the pass to McClair for the first-time cross. Well, Brian McClair, as true footed as they come, but even he couldn't control the ball on that surface to play a telling cross. So goal kick to Cyprus. A couple of minutes remaining in the first half. And certainly signs that Scotland really are in a cup tie this afternoon. One goal each. As McLeish heads it forward, here's Brian McClair. McStay into space for Johnston. He's found it on the left. Looking for support to arrive. Playing across the far side, there's David Speedie going up for the keeper. Speedie, but Petsas, the goalkeeper, had judged that well. Good safe pair of hands, the keeper. Certainly not the biggest of all time, and a touch eccentric. Here's more problems for the Cypriot defence. Nicolaou playing it back to Pantziaras, and couldn't cut that off. So the Cypriots, I'm sure, will be happy to see out the first half. We're inside the final minute now. The referee allowing no time for treatment for injury, so there will be very little time to add on for stoppages. Malpas turns that out. And it may be a long time before it's a turn from this position well away from the touchline. There's the referee, Siegfried Kirschen from East Germany, who's had a fine match so far. And the 45 minutes are now over in the first half. We're into time added on. Scotland defending for the moment. The ball was carried out there by Ioannou, and the referee reacts. Linesman, it's a throw to Scotland. Scarcely enough time, I fancy, to launch an attack, but Jim Leighton may try with a long ball forward. The referee checking with his linesman as Leighton sends this one downfield. Up goes Speedie, breaks for Ian Ferguson. McClair going to the right, followed by Christodoulou. So Scotland will have to hurry if they're to take any advantage of this attacking position. The referee checking his watch carefully as McClair looks for movement inside. Richard Gough is there. He may be the target to head the ball on. Gough plays it across. It's sliced behind. That'll be a corner kick, I think. So the referee indicating that it is now half-time in the Tsirion Stadium in Limassol. The referee from East Germany brings the first half to an end. The first half starting brilliantly for Scotland. 7 minutes. The equaliser coming from Koliantris in 14 minutes. So the half-time score inside the stadium at Limassol is Cyprus 1, Scotland 1. We'll be right back with the St John off of Montfort in just a moment. Thank you, Arthur, and I can tell you the explanation for the first change made by Scotland. Steve Nicol was replaced by Ian Ferguson very early on, suffering from a stomach disorder which gave him cramp in that area. So it looks as though there's been some bit of food poisoning or something affecting Steve Nicol. So there's been no further change for the start of the second half. There's Scotland in their white tops, starting a crucial 45-minute period when they really do have to find a way to break down this Cypriot defence to keep World Cup hopes high. So a lot of hard talk, you have no doubt, during the interval to find ways to combat this treacherous surface. There's an offside flag up against Johnston on the near side. Well, Ian St John, Alec, thought that the Scots should put the ball behind the Cypriot defence and put them under pressure.
What's the point of it making? It's a day in which you've got to keep your game simple. And you can't get the ball down in the middle of the park, so it's got to be played forward. And Ian's quite right. If you can get it in behind him, it's the only place that a defender ever worries about.
So Scotland opening up to face this free kick with the four-man defence, which they adjusted to after the loss of Steve Nicol. Savvidis being pushed in the back by Gough, a free kick to Cyprus. The East German referee, not only is he decisive, but he's very mobile indeed, getting very close to the play. So here's another free kick for the Scots to handle. Yiangoudakis is number 6. Pittas is also there, the number 2, with a very talented left foot. And the Scots pulling back everyone now to help in defence. There's Pittas sliding it in, and Tim Leighton diving that treacherous ball. He has to see Malpas sweep it away for the corner. Well, it really is nightmarish as far as goalkeepers are concerned. When the ball hits the ground, they can have no real idea what's going to happen next. So another moment of anxiety for the Scots as this corner kick taken eventually by Savvidis, and it is noticeable the way the Cypriots wait until the ball has been returned before they send a player across to take the kick. So a crowded goalmouth now as Savvidis plays the corner in. Up goes Leighton, he's in trouble. Christodoulou is there, it was blocked there by Leighton. Another chance for the Cypriots. There's a chance to get a slip forward. Cyprus take the lead. It's a disaster for the Scots as Ioannou, right at the start of the second half, Ioannou has scored. The Cypriots go 2-1 ahead. The Scottish defence at 6s and 7s, and the 22-year-old striker gets to that. It was set up initially by Jim Leighton, coming for the first ball, failing to get to it. That's driven across, no question of offside, with a man on the post. It was Paul McStay, and now the Scots have a major problem to handle.
Well, it's a bad goal to lose. I think maybe should have done better in the cross, initial cross. There was blocked once, and it was then blocked in the line by Malpas. We seem to get a clear jock after Morris knocked it out of the road, broke wide, and the ball played back in, and eventually did score. It was a bad goal to lose, a bad time.
So there's a savage blow for the Scots at the start of the second half. Total uncertainty in the defence. They tried to scramble that away, and they've been punished severely. So the Scots now have to come from behind if they're to win this World Cup tie in Limassol. The clock, 3.5 minutes gone in the second half, and it's now a major battle for the Scots. And you can be sure the Cypriots will have renewed energy in light of that goal which puts them ahead. They've never been ahead in the World Cup match so far. Now they have the chance of a historic victory, unless the Scots can do something about it. Here's Aitken going forward, trying to make room for a cross. Pulling players around him, back with Malpas. There's the high ball into the box. And it is being allowed to run for the throw. Maurice Johnston is there, waving Richard Gough aside, but Gough insists on taking this. Scots will be anxious to hit back as quickly as possible now, not to allow the Cypriots to settle on their lead. There is Johnston. It's back now with McLeish. Over on the far side is Speedie. And the supporting player is Malpas. Well, the Cypriots enjoying this to the full. McClair can't reach that. Christodoulou happy to escort it behind for a goal kick, which you can be sure will be taken in the most leisurely fashion. Well, a huge contingent of Scots in the stadium, at least 1,000. They made lots of noise before the match, but they are strangely hushed now as the Cypriots celebrate. So an upward bouncing ball to the middle again. McLeish gets to it. Here's Malpas with the pass back. So Leighton now with the clearance. The Scots all pushing towards the halfway line. No question of a throw out on this surface. Skidding away there. McClair will chase and accept the throw, I'm sure. So throw into Scotland. And men going forward to join the attack once again. Richard Gough is right in the thick of the play. That's the target. There's Gough, and that's straight into the side netting with a shot. Well, it's the impact of the Cypriots is the main concern now, Alec, I think.
Yes, well, what they have got to do, Scott, they've got to make sure that they don't get too anxious about it. They certainly have got to maintain a good urgency. Stamina may come into the final stages of the match. They must try and keep the ball in the park as much as they can. They've got to make sure the Cypriots play the whole afternoon, don't give them rest. And we may get back in here. It's a difficult job now, I feel, but they may get back in if they keep their heads down and work away and don't, whatever they do, get over anxious about it.
So there's a free kick given against Aitken as the ball was in there. Yiangoudakis went down. He's quickly back on his feet this time. They've obviously learned, the Cypriots, that the referee will not allow any time wasting for treatment to injuries. So here's Miamiliotis with the free kick for Cyprus. Cross to Petsas. Here's Pittas on the outside, but Petsas going forward. There's a good pass. Chance on for Ioannou again. And the helping player is Paul McStay. Still Ioannou playing it across. Queuing up in the middle for that. Koliantris and Savvidis. Either one could surely have scored. As it was, they got in each other's way and the Scots escape. But another moment of great anxiety in defence. Paul McStay. Speedie's found some space. Richard Gough supporting from right back. This is McClair now on the right. Well, that's good play by McClair. Looking for an accurate ball inside. That's well taken by Pantziaras, the goalkeeper. Johnston trying to come in, but that could easily have been a thought, Alec.
Yes, I'm a bit hesitant in the Scotland defence to begin with. But I think that you can't underestimate them. They're quite brilliant up front. The striker, Savvidis, and the number 11 who created that chance, they're both showing quickness and good control. It's something you can't underestimate. But Brian McClair would be disappointed no one attacked the front post in that cross of his a minute ago there, because that's one area in this surface that you can get some dividend out of.
So there's some hefty treatment for Mo Johnston going down the halfway line. A free kick to Scotland. You can be sure the Cypriots will defend this lead with their lives now. Victory which will certainly go down in the annals of their footballing history if they can hang on. So a recovery job for Paul McStay coming back. Here's McClair. That was intended for McStay. It's turned away for a throw to Scotland. Well, in the last two home World Cup matches, Cyprus played against Norway and against an hour before either away team could score. Scotland certainly managed early on there. Speedie. Chance for Johnston, back to Gough. And Gough has equalised. Richard Gough for Scotland. A vital recovery. And Scotland are right back on terms as Richard Gough with his fourth goal for his country. The Cypriots have a debate among themselves on how that came about, but it came from a throw from Brian McClair. It was helped on there by Paul McStay. Now it's good work here from Speedie playing it across. And then watch Mo Johnston the way he sets this up for Richard Gough in a better shooting position. Gough waiting with great composure and driving that beyond the keeper for Scotland's equaliser.
Well, it was a lucky goal in a way that seemed to, I don't know, to a deflection or what, it just seemed to bounce by the goalkeeper. But we're going to accept it. We're back in the game, Jock. And there's just one thing I have to say, they must not make any more mistakes, Scotland now.
So there's a look at the goal again. While Scotland on the attack, for in reality, we're looking again at the move which brought the equaliser via Richard Gough. The ball didn't appear to take a break off a defender to go beyond the keeper. That is Richard Gough's goal, all right. And that changes the complexion of the match once again. So here's David Speedie going in to put pressure on the defender, Christodoulou, and swept away from Mo Johnston. Here's Richard Gough for the header. Here's Paul McStay, who had one vital contribution there to that build-up, going away from Petsas. And that was intended for Mo Johnston, who had hung wide. He hadn't come inside to support that pass from McStay.
Surprising for Mo not to go into that opportunity, because it's the type of service he likes, and he usually moves all the time anyway, and Paul probably expected him to make a run forward there. But as the game moves on, Jock, I think that Scotland will then start getting their stamina into it, and I made this point, it is important. They must maintain a good tempo of match, and maybe in the final stages of the match it'll pay dividend for us.
Speedie tried to turn that up the right wing, but he's sliced it out for the throw. Mo Johnston acting as ball boy for the moment, giving the Cypriots no excuse for any delay. A draw really not good enough for the Scots. They are looking for 2 points on this match. Here's Savvidis holding off Speedie. Speedie not diving in. The tackers on the back, they're penalised instantly by the East German referee. He could scarcely have been closer to the challenge. Savvidis goes down. Well, what a dramatic start to the second half. It was Ioannou in 47 minutes, and then Gough in 52, making it Cyprus 2, Scotland 2, and that really is a remarkable scoreline. So Pittas will take the free kick. The Scots not looking at all confident defensively with these cross balls coming in. That's headed away well, though, by Gough. And now it's nodded on by Aitken for McClair. That's switching the play to the far side to Ian Ferguson, who's been switched in the second half by the Scots, a left-sided row in midfield. Playing that through for Aitken, that's just out of reach. Transition, that was going to the left. Yeah.
I mean, to say that with Ian Ferguson operator, and I'll tell you something else. The boy was given a lot of thrust in that side of the park. It was something missing in the first half, obviously, because it's an unusual position for Roy Aitken to play in the left-hand side of midfield. Ian Ferguson's filling the role exceptionally well, and is certainly one of Scotland's bright players.
So Scotland deploying Roy Aitken, their captain, on the Cypriot captain, Yiangoudakis. There they are together. Here's Petsas. Paul McStay dropping to the right side of the midfield now. As Pittas lofts that across towards the far side. McLeish nodding it out. There's Koliantris. And Richard Gough calls to David Narey to leave that, to allow him to come out of defence. This is Speedie. Forward is Johnston. Gough. Better play from Scotland. The back killer from McStay, though, goes astray and gives possession to Cyprus. Speedie gets it back. This is Mo Johnston. Brought down by Pittas. Straight back to his feet. Can't wait to get on with the game. Well, he's made one and scored one, Mo Johnston, so his contribution up front certainly can't be questioned. Here's Roy Aitken now, more comfortable in the centre of the midfield for Scotland with this free kick. The header came from Speedie! Well, David Speedie, not a tall player by any means, but that was a supreme header from the little Coventry striker. Corner kick taken short. There's Paul McStay with a cross. Right to the far side it goes. Ian Ferguson to retrieve it. And it's swept away by Nicolaou. Here's Maurice Malpas. The overhead effort. Bouncing away. And sorted out by Yiangoudakis in the end, the captain. And that ball slowing away from Pittas. He couldn't control it either on this dreadful surface.
Well, once again, Joe, the crosses into the far side of the penalty box have proved a threat and a worry to the Cyprus defence.
There was a goal pumping it in. That was Speedie again who touched the ball. So Pantziaras still not in any great hurry. He's being forced onto his right foot by McClair. Here's David Narey letting that bounce through to Leighton. Well, it certainly was very important that the Scots hit back quickly, didn't allow the Cypriots to settle in their lead, just as the Cypriots did in the first half when Scotland took that very early lead. Koliantris came back quickly. is Ian Ferguson, and the free kick has been given for handball. Well, clearly played the man. It seems most unfortunate for Ferguson. He certainly wasn't trying to handle it. That was clear. There's McLeish with the header. Ian Ferguson takes over again. He looks so composed and assured in only his second international.
He's been very impressive, really impressive, and he's bringing a bit of actual stature into the midfield of the Scottish team. He's outshining the rest of them. It's been a great second game for him for Scotland.
So half an hour remaining for Scotland to find a way through for a victory. 2 each it is here in the Tsirion Stadium at Limassol. As Scotland come forward again with Ian Ferguson. Here's McClair, who's hanging to the right for the Scots, an attack in the second half. The angle ball cushioned down by Gough. McStay takes over. Here's Malpas. A low ball played in this time, sliced away, and Ian Ferguson putting pressure on Pittas. Now Narey's pace is tested by Savvidis, and good in the turn, David Narey. He's not by any means a youngster anymore, but still quick in the turn.
Well, he's one of the quickest defenders in Scotland, but Savvidis is also quick, and they had to run there.
This is Malpas. McClair making another good wide run, being used in that role by Scotland in the second half. But the ball has gone out. It looks as though there is a throw to Cyprus. Miamiliotis is the player in no hurry to take it. There's Malpas. McClair under pressure immediately, and it's the Cypriots who have possession again. Yiangoudakis looking for Koliantris, and that is a throw. Bit of time wasting there by Koliantris. So we're into the phase of the match where stamina could become important.
I certainly think it will be important. I think we'll find out in the next 10-15 minutes that Scotland will get more opportunities out of the middle of the park, and maybe Paul mistaken then start getting a foot in the ball.
This is Nicolaou. Savvidis going across, and McLeish is there first. Bringing the ball forward, keeping it in play. This is Yiangoudakis, number 6. Very talented player, little midfield general. And here's a test of the pace of Malpas. Koliantris goes past him. It was blocked by Malpas, so Scotland had the chance to pull defenders back to cope with the Cypriot attack. So here's Yiangoudakis is waiting because there will be a hold-up for treatment to the Scottish player. It is David Speedie who's sitting down just inside the Cypriot half. Now there's a mystery about how that happened. You can be sure he's not down voluntarily because he will not want the flow of play broken up.
Alan McClair is going to come on and replace David Speedie. He's stripped and ready. I think David Speedie's got an ankle injury actually.
Up goes Richard Gough with a head clearance. Malpas tries to keep the ball in play, but succeeds only in turning it a bit further forward. Yes, activity on the Scottish bench all right. David Speedie may not last much longer. And the replacement will be, I'm sure, Alan McInally, who's stripped off number 16. Well, there's some hold up again. He's putting a tracksuit top back on as Yiangoudakis makes for the byline. McLeish with the head. Here's Koliantris. Ioannou calls the ball, and it's Richard Gough who clears up. Here's McClair, and McClair's pass back. Leighton was there, and Savvidis appeared to be taken by surprise. But what a let-off for Scotland. Richard Gough turning defence into attack now. McClair coming up on the right, and still Richard Gough going all the way himself, linking with Aitken. They headed away, won by McStay. Here's McClair who made that error, now Aitken. And turning it across, but behind for a goal kick. And, well, Brian McClair may have taken some stick not only from Andy Roxburgh, but also from the man beside me, his manager, Alex Ferguson.
Well, I think he's taking teamwork a wee bit too far here, trying to give Jim Wayne something to do. It was a mistake, it's been part of Scotland's games today. There's been small mistakes that's kept Cyprus in the match. I feel that that was another one. Brian will not want to remember that, and I'm sure he'll not do it again.
Jim Leighton, his Manchester United colleague, reacting quickly enough to hold that up. There's Paul McStay's pass to the far side. Brian McClair being balked as he tries to reach the ball by a combination of Socratous and Nicolaou. And McClair certainly given the great respect of a marker right from the start. There's the huge contingent of Scottish fans inside the Tsirion Stadium. Well, they certainly have had a troubled afternoon, going into the lead early on, then going 2-1 behind and getting back on level terms through Richard Gough. So the referee has produced a yellow card for a bit of time wasting. Well, that's certainly very interesting indeed. The referee determined. He's obviously heard a little bit about the Cypriot tactics when they have a result which appears to suit them. They have right now drawing 2 each. Socratous with the clearance. There's Ian Ferguson. Headed away by Miamiliotis, and it's Koliantris who slices the ball out of play. So Scotland playing still with plenty of urgency. They want the game to continue quickly. The referee waving them back, and it's back now with David Narey. Richard Gough is right at the edge of the box for Scotland. David Speedie is also up, but Speedie goes up with Gough. Well, either one could have got to that, I think, perhaps impeding each other, but it's behind for a goal kick.
Obviously, Andy Roxburgh's holding Alan McInally as long as he can, because he's only got the one substitute left. And the surface like that, anyone could go over an ankle, so I think it's important to keep the team the way it is now, unless there is a serious injury.
So the ball is turned away for a Scottish throw. There's Richard Gough, who's in a hurry, clearly. Johnston makes himself available as ever up front. Finding Speedie with the pass. Here's Paul McStay. Still really to assert himself in this match. Taking the ball for a run to the far side. Petsas is the marker. Well, a heavy tackle by Petsas, and the referee decides that's a throw to Scotland. Roy Aitken wants to take long. Richard Gough is the target. There he is in the box. There's Malpas going in to challenge, but it's gone out. And indeed, the referee, I think, has given a free kick. As Koliantris goes through some dramatics going to the ground, and it looked as though a yellow card was shown there towards Maurice Malpas.
Yes, Maurice Malpas is booked for putting his foot up. Although it's got to be said that the Cyprus player, look, he's lying as if he's dead. It's the old histrionic. It's a sad aspect of some international football, and when you come to these countries, they roll about, and unfortunately the referee has spent most of it in the afternoon. He's made sure that there wasn't going to be any treatment, unnecessary treatment, and he's kept the flow of the game well. He's controlled it too, that Scotland could be pleased with that. His performance has been very good. They can have no complaints about the referee, but unfortunately booking for Morris.
And of course, with the ball bouncing so frequently and so high, it's almost inevitable there will be challenges made in these circumstances. And now the activity we talked about on the Scottish bench, I think, is about to bear fruit. Andy Roxburgh down below is giving intense advice to Alan McInally about the contribution he's about to make, I think, as Koliantris is checked over very carefully by the Cypriots. Well, the pace and strength of McInally in these running positions may well become important, especially as the Cypriot defence may be expected to tire a little. Koliantris is back on his feet. The Scottish bench with the subs on the far side, and if McInally comes on, that'll be the end of the changes that Scotland can make. Indeed, the substitution is David Speedie going off, nursing that ankle knock, and the replacement is Alan McInally of Aston Villa going on to win his first cap. The Cypriot director will pick that up, I'm sure, in a moment. There we are. There's number 16, Alan McInally. A fearsome sight, no doubt, for the Cypriot defenders. But he comes on anxious to make an impression after his superb season in the Aston Villa attack. Can he make a big difference, Alec?
Well, the one thing, he'll certainly have to play up front. This is his position. He's been doing well at Aston Villa, and coming for his first international, so obviously they'll have to play him in his best position, which will mean that Brian McClair wants to step back again, unless they play 3 up. But he's got the power, he's got the strength, he's quick with the balls in front of him. He's had a marvellous season down in England. I just hope he carries on today.
Well, they can answer that, because there have been signals from Andy Roxburgh, the Scottish bench, waving Brian McClair up to join Alan McInally and Mo Johnston. So Scotland are going to go for broke in the closing stages with 3 up.
I think it's a sensible thing to do, to keep the players who are likely to score up the park as much as they can.
There's a running foul of McInally, and tackled there the last moment by Ioannou, but 3 up for Scotland. For Celtic, McClair, Johnston and McInally. So they must know something about each other. There's McInally's cross, but that's gone behind, I think. No, the ball is still at play. And no, the referee has reacted to the linesman and given the goal kick. Now, in McInally's first match, as I recall, for Celtic was here in Cyprus when the Cypriot national team played Celtic, and indeed I think they won the match 2-1. I hope he scored that day. I think he saved it for this afternoon. I don't think he scored that time. Here's Pantziaras, put under pressure by Johnston. Headed by Malpas. Middle of the field is Ioannou, and over on the far side is a player injured a second or two ago, Koliantris, who looks very frisky indeed. Goal scorer, first goal scorer for Cyprus. And the ball lofted over the top and behind for the goal kick. Jim Leighton wants Richard Gough to take it quickly and allow him the chance to have the long ball from hand. So midway through the second half now, into the last quarter of the match, with the scoreline Cyprus 2, Scotland 2. And Scotland now have committed both their substitutes. Here's Brian McClair. Paul McStay going in on the right, chance for the cross, a delicate ball, playing it beyond Socratous, but he couldn't play it to McInally.
They seem to be getting a little bit more room now off the midfield. Paul McStay is now getting a stranglehold in there. He's making some good forward runs, and as I said earlier, I think this is going to be an important issue. We just have to maintain the up and say, don't give them a kick at the ball, and the hope that we can get that goal that will bring us a good result.
There's Richard Gough, nodded down by Petsas. Ioannou trying to get away from Gough. Helped by Petsas, who steps away from Aitken. The pace of Koliantris brought him to play again on the far side. There he goes, Yiangoudakis makes the decoy run. Here's Savvidis. It's back with Nicolaou. Good possession play by the Cypriots now. And it's Malpas who brings the ball clear. McClair comes off his marker. Pittas goes in quickly with Koliantris. Yiangoudakis tackled by Ferguson from the back, and the whistle goes for a free kick to Cyprus. Frustration for the Scots. I don't know if he's got with some advice for Ian Ferguson about these tackles from the rear.
I don't like these free kicks. No, I think the free kicks have been excellent today. The delivery of the ball into the box has been superb.
That's for Yiangoudakis, and David Narey is forced to go across and lost that wide. Here's Koliantris. Yiangoudakis keeps the ball in play. David Narey's with him. And the Scots should bring the ball clear. It's Ian Ferguson. A long ball forward looking for Johnston. Difficult ball for Johnston. Socratous lets it run for a throw to Cyprus. So the Scots are still hoping to find Paul McStay getting some stranglehold in midfield with Ian Ferguson. It's beyond Narey. It's McLeish with Savvidis. McLeish holding play up. Savvidis turning to deliver the cross. And it's Paul McStay who got back, cutting off the ball, which would have reached Petsas. Here's Yiangoudakis. That appeared to be deflected. The overhand, but that's waved aside by the referee. That's one for McInally to chase. Here's Pittas. Over the far side it goes for the long header back from Malpas, taking no chances quite correctly on the surface. So the ball to the far side for McClair, who's beaten to it by Pittas, who's just 22 years old, the Apollon fullback, with perhaps a career in big-time football to come. A very impressive player. Here's Richard Gough, looking for a turn of the ball quickly, waiting for McClair to get back on the field. Here's Johnston, scorer of the first, maker of the second for Scotland. Running out of space, that's great control from Johnston, bringing that tackle from Miamiliotis, and that is a throw to Scotland. The Miamiliotis goes down. Well, number 3 there is a member of the Cyprus CID, the big policeman, and he's on the ground with the referee quite unprepared to allow the match to be held up. There's Paul McStay's throw, looking for Richard Gough, the head flick on. And scrambled away by the Cypriots. Savvidis, and now McLeish with a header. Breaks towards Aitken. The long ball forward for Savvidis to chase. She's stepping inside McLeish. She's got plenty of support up. McLeish wins it calmly. Hooks up, sending the ball towards the far side. That was intended for McInally, and he's picked it up. Oh, great play from McClair. A forward by McClair. The referee allows play to continue with McStay in possession. Scarce an advantage though to the Scots. McClair picked it up again. Here's Bo Johnston. The flighted ball to the far side. That is just too long for Ian Ferguson. Well, not much of an advantage, I like that.
No, but there are signs that they just keep at their job. That their zone's created a little bit now. They're starting to get offered at markers now. Maurice Johnston's got a little bit more room. Brian McClair's got a little bit more room, and just maybe we'll see now something happen.
Cyprus reduced to 10 men for the moment, with Miamiliotis off the field. And a substitute preparing to come on. It will be Antrellis, who may well appear as the goal kick is taken by Socratous. Up goes McLeish, and he's penalised for what appeared to be a commanding header. So here comes the second substitute for Cyprus. Miamiliotis will take no further part in the play. Antrellis coming on, Antrellis coming on to replace him. He's a centre-back, so a direct replacement. And the substitutes committed now by both sides. Cypriots in no hurry to take this free kick. Socratous will play it forward. Inside the final quarter of an hour now. It goes through harmlessly to Leighton. Well, some more action for the Scottish strikers. Here's McClair in behind Pittas. And the ball bobbling all over the place as he chased it. Slanted in and headed away. Pittas helping it forward. So there's Ioannou. He's given plenty of time now to work the ball clear. McStay's pressure giving possession to Gough. It broke off Ioannou again. Here's Savvidis. McLeish had to funnel back off him. Savvidis running at the Scottish defence with help on the outside towards Savvidis, who appeared to leave that as Narey ducked. Well, did McLeish call? I scarcely think so in these circumstances, but the Scottish defence survives. The ball is forward again for Johnston and for McInally. The header goes wide for McClair. Pittas is the marker, and McClair runs out of space. In goes Pantziaras, and down he goes dramatically. Now, I don't think he was touched at all by McInally in that incident, but the referee has a word with McInally, and the goalkeeper stays on the ground. Some more precious seconds wasted by the Cypriots.
One of the strong points of Scotland over the last few years has been their defensive record. It's been as good as any country in the world. But today, they've shown their nervousness has kept Cyprus in the match. Disappointing that part, because it could cost them very deal with that.
The Scots protesting vigorously to the East German referee about what appears to be blatant time wasting. Richard Gough trying to ensure that an appropriate amount of time is added on. And if Pantziaras was seriously hurt, there would be no possibility of a substitute coming on. Well, I'll be very interested to see how he performs the next time he's called into action by the Scottish attack. Socratous will take the goal kick. Gough winning that from Ioannou. Here's Johnston. Such a tremendous worker up front for Scotland. Here's Paul McStay. It's back for Johnston. There's a flick on, looking for Gough. The clearance came from Yiangoudakis. And it's done very quickly from the Scottish bench. No delay as Paul McStay takes the throw. Helped on by Aitken. There's McStay once again, nodding it back into the danger area. Narey across to Malpas. Yiangoudakis returns it. Ian Ferguson beaten to that. Well, here's Yiangoudakis again coming forward. Savvidis with a return pass. Richard Gough goes across. And Yiangoudakis looks for a free kick, but Gough was very careful not to commit any infringement there. There's Ian Ferguson. That's one for Aitken to chase. Heading for the byline, chased by Pittas. That'll be a corner kick, I fancy, for Scotland, yes. Protest from the Cypriots. They've come to nothing, though. Well, the Scots were hoping for plenty of opportunities from high crosses. Here's Paul McStay with the corner kick for Scotland. Right to the far post. Gough leaves it. He got a call, I think, from Johnston. Off the underside of the bar and swept over the top by McInally. Misfortune again for Mo Johnston with a superb effort. Pantziaras, who looked alert enough, couldn't reach to that and couldn't reach it. It was a duck there by Richard Gough. Just look at the way this is struck on the drop by Mo Johnston, the keeper at full stretch. Saved by the bar.
2 inches, only 2 inches, and it would have been through. That good result.
So 10 minutes remaining. That's the 80th minute of the match when Johnston hit the crossbar.
It was a good spike all the time, John, well controlled, and he couldn't hit to a bit of point across the goalkeeper to the far side and off the underside of the bar, and very unfortunate.
So Narey returns it. The ball spending too much time in the air for real international football. Bouncing awkwardly, and that's David Narey going in behind Savvidis, conceding the free kick, and that appeared to be almost inevitable. That would be a free kick to Cyprus. Player of Narey's experience, I'm sure, realised that. So there's Yiangoudakis with the armband, the captain. So the score, reminder, is Cyprus 2, Scotland 2. And the scorer for Scotland, Mo Johnston and Richard Gough. For Cyprus, Koliantris and Ioannou. And here's the free kick for Cyprus, eventually taken. Pumped in towards Savvidis. There goes McLeish with the header. Koliantris picks it up, trying to get away from Malpas and Ferguson. And he's won a corner kick. It's rebounded off Malpas. It's Malpas is going to bring the ball back to make sure there is no delay. So Savvidis goes across to take it. And Scotland leaving McInally and Johnston up with the attack. Brian McClair is dropped back to help in defence. Cypriot fans waiting to celebrate what would be a marvellous result for them. So there's Savvidis with a corner. Nodded down by Aitken. Savvidis collects again. And it's Jim Leighton keeps the ball in play, launching a long ball forward. It's 2 against 3. McInally and Johnston with 3 defenders. Paul McStay supporting quickly. Here's McInally, trying to find a way past. Leaves it to Paul McStay. They're waiting in the middle for a good cross. Still on the ground as it comes in. Not the height that the Scottish forwards wanted. So it's back now with Narey. And he uses Jim Leighton.
Well, it just seems to be running away a little from now. That although Paul McStay is getting more and more in the game, the final ball in the box is just not quite what we were expecting. Not as good as it was the first half.
There's Mo Johnston delivering the cross. Who's in the middle? Well, McClair was there. There's Gough. And now Ferguson. That's for McClair, who's still onside. Scrambled away again by Nicolaou. And McLeish nodding that calmly across to Narey. Good defensive play by McLeish. Narey using Johnston has come deep. Can't get enough of the ball, Mo Johnston, this afternoon. Still going forward, playing it into the box. And the clearance setting up a chance, but McLeish cuts it off quickly with Savvidis who appeared to be cleared. Now Narey. Aitken calls the ball on the right. Stepping away from Ioannou. Delivering it to the far side towards Richard Gough. And he's not allowed to reach the ball. Petsas is the marking player who escorts it behind for the goal kick.
They still have tired, the Cypriots now, that they're all just parking around about the edge of the box. But the problem is trying to create enough space in there and getting a good delivery of ball in that will prove effective. We're picking up all the loose ends out in the midfield, and it's jock is just as time is against them. You can't beat time.
The Cypriot goal kick goes towards Savvidis and McLeish. A long chase of Koliantris, who's very quick, and that's recognised by Leighton. So right back into the Cypriot half it goes. Certainly not the way the Scots would prefer to play, I'm sure. There's Johnston with a head flick on. Here's McInally, and it's Pantziaras who gets there first. Johnston doing well again in the air. McLeish comes to command in the air, and there's Johnston knocking it on. McClair goes up well, breaks kindly for him. Here's McStay wide for Ferguson, and an offside flag is up on the near side with just 5 minutes remaining. It's Cyprus 2, it's Scotland 2 if you just joined us. Pittas decides to lie down this time.
His exhaustion, Jock, that's what he's lying down with. Just a wee bit anxious with Ian Ferguson making his forward run. They have just got to try and keep the composure a little. I know it's difficult. They're all keen to do well, but it's so important, that little aspect of the game.
The two captains there, Aitken and Yiangoudakis, having a word with the injured player. It's a free kick for offside, just outside the box. And it's back with Pantziaras. Certainly looks to be fully recovered from what he indicated was an injury he sustained some time ago. There's Malpas with a header, and offside flag again is up. Johnston and McInally appear to be in line, I think. There's a clock ticking away, just 4 minutes remaining. Can Scotland pull off a victory against the odds? 2 each at the moment.
So one thing they've kept us hanging on, haven't they? And there's another lad doing his histrionics. That's sad, that.
Another player lying down as McLeish heads it away. Here's Aitken. Petsas, it's a second substitute. It's Antrellis, and the free kick's been given for foot up against the Scots again. There's still a Cypriot lying down inside his own half. Sheer frustration this for the Scots, breaking up play at every turn. The referee now being asked by the Cypriots to check his watch. But there's no hold up here. Pantziaras has come right out of his box. The Scottish wall being waved back. And an anxious moment for a set piece here. The East German referee now sprinting back to see what's going on inside his own half. And making it perfectly clear he will not allow play to stop. So the referee gesticulating to the Cypriot players. And, well, the effect has been created. If the referee had it on all the time, then we could be playing for a very long time yet.
Yeah, what that really going to do, I think he's going to let the trainer on. If there's no way he's going to get him up on his feet or take him off the park, then he's going to go on with it. Other than that, it's just going to go fast the last few minutes, Jock. Listen, in a ridiculous situation, you see players carrying their own player off. He could be seriously injured. I know the trainer should be examining him and seeing if he should be carried off at all and how he should be carried off.
And when that's all over, Scotland have faced this set piece from outside the box, which could be troublesome. Now the referee is happy that the game should resume. So it's Savvidis and Yiangoudakis who are over the ball. An indirect free kick indicated by the referee. It can't be a direct strike on target. Here's Yiangoudakis leaving it to Savvidis. Chipping it to the far side, and it's gone for a goal kick, which Jim Leighton will take very quickly indeed. You can be sure of that. Just a couple of minutes left, plus any time added on by the referee for stoppages, and there could be lots of that if he chose to enforce the rules strictly. Here's Paul McStay, playing it to the right. McInally gives chase willingly, and that'll be a throw to Scotland. McInally will be wanted inside the box. It's Aitken who'll take the long throw. Can Scotland cash in right at the death now, going into the final minutes? Huge throw by Aitken. It's helped on into the box. Swept away by the Cypriot defence once more. There's Narey sprinting for it with Savvidis. And it's Malpas who's the last man. Now the Cypriots not following him out, so the long ball is required again. Up goes McInally. Header inside. McInally again, lofting it forward, but no Scottish player in position. Well, it really has taken on the style of a really poor class cup tie now, with the ball being pumped into the box at all times, and really the Scots could do little else on the surface.
Well, I don't blame him because it's difficult to get the ball down in midfield. That's the first point. And secondly, they don't have time. They have enough force up front. They've got goal scorers up there. They must want the ball there as quickly as they can.
So a good header that time from the Cypriot defender. It's Savvidis with McLeish, supporting player Ioannou. He's away from McStay. He wants to take on McLeish now, perhaps. And a free kick's been given. The ball was out of play before Ioannou went down, but he went down in dramatic fashion, and the referee, I've got to say, was, for my money, kidded by that. Savvidis lofts it into the box. Narey is forced to play it by the attention of Yiangoudakis. We're into time now, added on for stoppages. The Scotland seek what would now be a dramatic winner if they can pull off a miracle in the late stages. Here's Ian Ferguson, standing on the ball, looking for a measured pass. There's McInally with a header. Over the far side it goes. Johnston gives chase. He's beaten to that by Socratous. There's the clock ticking on past the 45-minute mark. As McLeish retrieves it. Back it goes to Leighton to allow him to send it deep inside the Cypriot half. It looks as though Scotland have dropped a vital World Cup point, though. 2 each it is. Right at the end of the match, there's a throw to Scotland. And it's Aaron McInally who insists on getting the ball back quickly. The match really could go on some time if the referee chose to take that line. Here's McInally now, delivering the cross. Turned away for a corner kick. And perhaps the last chance for Scotland, if there is even enough time for that. Paul McStay coming across, retrieving the ball. This may be the last opportunity for Scotland to win the match. There's Petsas, the bearded figure, Ioannou beside him. Bumped across to the far side, there's Richard Gough, and it couldn't be turned on target by Brian McClair. It looks now as though it's too late for the Scots.
Yes, and reflection on the game, it's a difficult surface. I'm not making excuses for him, John, but when you plan for these types of matches, you have to try and use all your experience as play as you can. It was a blow as Steve Nicol had been taken off. But the real blow was the little errors at the back that, you know, a record and the players have got don't normally make. The record's good, they're consistent performers, they're top players at their position, and that is just a little bit disappointment at the beginning.
The Scotland still trying to get forward. Back with David Narey, the referee still allowing play to continue with 2 minutes of additional time as Mo Johnston leaps for that high ball. McClair slipping at the wrong moment. And here's Paul McStay retrieving it. And that'll be a throw to Scotland. More than 2 minutes added on by the referee. How much more will he allow? Enough perhaps for Scotland, who knows? Very unusual for a referee to be so determined to apply the rules. Another throw to the Scots. The ball boy giving it short to McStay. Here's Roy Aitken. He'll have to launch this into the box. This could be the last dying attempt by Scotland. There it goes. Headed back down. There's Mo Johnston trying to get the ball low enough to try a shot at goal. That's turned away by the defender. Nicolaou for a corner kick. Will there be enough time? Paul McStay will take it. Pressure relentless now from the Scots as they probe for what would be an incredible winner. Played in by Paul McStay, right to the far side. Up goes Richard Gough, and the referee, I'm sure, will not allow that. Indeed, he's halted play for a free kick. It's a free kick. Referee Kirschen looking very calm indeed. Pantziaras is on the ground. You wouldn't expect anything different after a collision with a Scottish player. Richard Gough leaping with that challenge. An afternoon, no relic of great frustration for the Scots.
Oh, I can understand how they're feeling. I've been through all before myself, and there's lads in the bench they can't do anything but just worry and try and encourage. But really, it's a moral victory, I suppose, for the Cypriots, and the only thing I say, we must beat France very much.
So there's the goal kick. The referee still not showing any sign of bringing the match to an end. There's McLeish with a header. And you can be sure if Scotland managed to score now that the Cypriots would make one almighty protest. A little doubt about that in view of the time being added on. I certainly think it's justifiable the way that play has gone. We've had 4 minutes of additional time as Yiangoudakis prepares to take what is really a throw, not a free kick. More precious seconds are wasted. Nicolaou having a chat with his captain. The Scots have to get possession back quickly if they're to turn this back into attack. The chase now for McInally, and Socratous thumps the ball high towards the terracing, bouncing away as the referee again looks towards the ball boys, wants the ball back in play. Look how long it takes to get the ball back into play. The referee Siegfried Kirschen taking a firm view, looks for a replacement ball because the Cypriot fans don't want that ball to return. They're hoping for what would be a great result for them. If it were a 2-all result, the Cypriots would be overjoyed. So now a replacement ball has arrived, but the throw will require to be taken much further back. Well, a very long second half indeed. Now we've had 50 minutes of action in the second half, or certainly 50 minutes of play under the jurisdiction of the referee. Not all of it action. Here's Maurice Malpas. So certainly a way to stamp out time wasting. There's Ian Ferguson going forward. And a free kick to Scotland. Ferguson with Bolt going forward. You can be sure every Scotsman will be in the box for this. McLeish going forward quickly. Richard Gough's already there. Alan McInally another target. And it'll be played in from the far side by Roy Aitken. And there's the Scotland has scored! We've had 5.5 minutes of time added on. Richard Gough has done it! Right at the quadrumulated midsum of the halfway line. And you can be sure there will be a major inquest now into the time added on by referee Kirschen. Richard Gough with his second goal of the match. Let's savor this moment again as the ball is played in by Roy Aitken. A prodigious leap, a powerful header by Gough. And Scotland have won the match surely now in the most dramatic fashion. Gough, remind me of Kiss Big Richard in the pool today. That was a marvellous leap and a marvellous header. If you are looking for a technician in terms of hitting a ball, that was the perfect one. So we'll see this again. It's played in by Roy Aitken now. Look at the way Gough gets up cleanly and powerfully on the 6-yard line. The keeper was left helpless. Well, there's a big thank you undoubtedly due to the East German referee. Look at the time added on. 6.5 minutes he'd added on. And I don't think you'll end it very quickly now as Jim Leighton takes the chance to waste some time. The referee checking his watch, and there goes the final whistle. Scotland have won this World Cup qualifier at the Tsirion Stadium, Limassol. The goal scorers first, Johnston, then 2 goals for the Cypriots until Richard Gough came back. One in the 52nd minute, then that dramatic header after 95.5 minutes of play. The final score here in Limassol, it's Cyprus 2, Scotland 3, back to Glasgow.